Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Happy belated Father's Day to all of the fathers out there. Happy Juneteenth and just a happy Monday. I know a lot of people are off today and have the ability to really be here, tap in. So I'm super excited about tonight. So tonight, as you guys all know, we're going to be talking about virtually wholesaling mobile homes, right? So we're going to give you a one-on-one of how to virtually wholesale mobile homes. So I want to make sure that, of course, it's Mobile Home Mondays, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Purpose of me coming here is to really give you guys an opportunity to ask questions that you may need. It's like a free coaching session every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with me. And we'll have just different topics that we talk about. You can always come here and ask any questions that you want, whether it's related to this specific topic or not. Again, I'm here to come help you guys get to where you want to get to and ultimately win in this mobile home game. So again, thanks for joining. Of course, let me know where you all are tuning in from. I'm always grateful to have you guys here. So for those who are new to the group or new to Mobile Home Mondays, welcome. And for those who are returning, thank you so much. Excited to have you tonight. And let's just get into it. So I wanted to kind of speak with you guys, right, about obviously virtual wholesaling, right? I think it's a topic that a lot of people are interested in because, and I think it's great, right? So some of the benefits of virtual wholesaling is that you get to not only wholesale in a market where you live, right, but you also get to be go into a market essentially wherever you want in the country, right? So if you live maybe in like a New York or somewhere where there may not be a dense amount of mobile homes, right? Joseph, I see you on the line. See, Joseph is in New York, right? Now he has gotten some mobile homes. He has seen mobile home parks and things of that nature. But if you're in a more, maybe a more rural area or an area where there's not a whole lot of mobile homes, virtual wholesaling gives you the ability to go into any market that makes sense, right? So you don't have to just choose a market just because you live there, but you can actually be more strategic about selecting your market and going into a market that makes sense, right? Where there is activity taking place, okay? Another thing is just like in reference to expansion, right? So there's going to come a point in your business where you're crushing it. And now you might want to expand, right? So it's like, well, how can I expand beyond just my city? And that is also where virtual wholesaling comes into play. Now, the cool thing about virtual wholesaling is that you can virtually wholesale locally, right? So I was doing this with houses when I was virtually wholesaling houses, right? Before I got into mobile homes. I lived in Baltimore, right? I was wholesaling in Baltimore, but I was operating virtually. So that means I wasn't going to see the houses. I wasn't, I was doing everything literally from home. I was I had newborn, we realized that we can do when we were living in New Jersey, coming to move to Maryland, and we started our business and said, hey, well, we can continue doing this virtually, right? So those are just some benefits. So you can do it, you can virtually wholesale locally, and you can do it anywhere else that you please, okay? So I want to get into some of the topics of tonight, right, of how exactly to virtually wholesale. This is like a 101 on virtual wholesaling. If you have any questions, post your questions in the comment section. IG, post your questions on the comment section or in the questions section. And I will make sure to get to all of you guys' questions tonight. Okay, so post any questions related to virtual wholesaling or not, just anything, of course, related to mobile homes. So the first thing we really want to talk about is finding a virtual market, right? And it's very similar. I mean, it is the exact same process. And that's the cool thing about virtual wholesaling, that a lot of the processes are the exact same as traditional wholesaling, but there are, of course, some additional nuances that you need to be aware of and you need to implement. So one of those, right, is choosing your market. Okay, so when it comes to choosing the market, what we like to do is we like to do a search to see if they're in the market that we are considering, right? So if we're considering, let's just say like random, like I don't know, Charlotte, North Carolina, right? So we would, of course, before we decide to actually launch into that market, we would first make sure that there are enough mobile home parks, right? So for that, it's the minimum for us is 10. That's what we found to be like a pretty good number, and to have enough inventory, but also, just to know that there's access to inventory in your market, right? So, but beyond that, beyond knowing that you have that access, you also want to be able to know that there's activity taking place, right? So the second part of that is we would go on Zillow, we would see all of the mobile homes that were recently sold in that city that we're, thinking about considering launching into. And if there's been at least 5 mobile homes that have been sold in the last 90 days, then we launch into that market. Okay. So this is a very volatile market that we're in. Things are going up and down so drastically. So we do like to see that there's been activity in the last 90 days. Again, just to make sure things are actually happening. Sales are happening. People are selling, but more importantly, people are buying, because you can have all the inventory in the world, but if you're not in a market where people are actually buying, it doesn't matter. Right. So making sure that you have those two things like clearly set out before you launch into your market is really, 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 really helpful. And one other thing that we like to do before we launch into a market is post a ghost ad in that market. Okay, so a ghost ad is just simply you're posting a deal that you don't actually have, right? So you don't actually have the deal, but you post it, right? So maybe you go on to like Craigslist, or you go on to wherever you get some pictures of a mobile home. We typically find pictures of a mobile home that needs some work, right? Because typically you're going to be selling a mobile home that needs some work, right? So you want to make sure that people are interested in these types of mobile homes in your market. So we'll post, before we even launch into the market, we'll post a ghost ad to see what type of traction we get, right? Make sure, again, that people are eager. Like, we want our inbox to be flooded with requests, flooded with interest. And that gives us an additional layer of assurance that we're launching into a market where we already know this inventory. We already know that there has been activity taking place in the last 90 days. And now we know that there's a market, that there's a demand for it. So it's like, all right, boom, now let's get into this market, right? And that also kind of that posting that ghost ad, the reason we do that too, on top of just making sure that it's a viable market that people are actually interested in, is you're also building your buyers list, right? You're building your buyers list, and you're also figuring out pricing. So once you start getting people that are showing interest, reaching out to you, right, and you can start seeing what they are interested in purchasing that mobile home for, that can also begin to help you identifying true values of mobile homes in that marketplace. Okay, so that is really how we determine markets, right? So we do an analysis. Maybe we're choosing somewhere where we might know some people, where we might have a bit of a network. So if we need people to go out, and we're going to get into this now, but if we need people to go out, see properties for us, we have access to doing that. Or maybe it's a market that we know something about. We know that it's a growing market. We know that there's trends happening there. We know that there's some projects taking place around those markets, right? So that might be another thing. Or you're just like, look, I'm not really sure. I just know I'm in Georgia, right? And I want to look to see what's the best place to start in Georgia. So we'll just go right on that MH Village and just find a list. And I'm gonna provide you guys with something later on in a post to. But yeah, get that information, you do your analysis, and now you're like, all right, I'm ready to launch into this market, right? Now, as far as actually finding a deal, right? So finding a virtual deal, it is very similar again to doing it locally. Okay, so all of the marketing techniques and all of the strategies that I've gone through to find deals, we are implementing the exact Same strategies. Bandit signs, direct mail, Facebook marketplace, Facebook groups, right? We're utilizing in the same exact marketing. The only thing that is different is obviously if we're doing bandit signs, if we're not physically there, we need to have a sign placer. Okay, so this is something to consider if you are considering going virtual, that you do need a slight, and it's just a slight more of a budget than you do for just traditional, because you have to have the accessibility to pay people to do certain things for you, your boots on the ground. Now, if you have family there or friends there, right? Or if you have a network of people that you can bargain with, right? Or barter with, then hey, then do that. But otherwise, you're gonna need a slight budget to be able to pay a sign placer to put signs out for you, to be able to pay somebody to go take pictures for you or look at the property for you, or to be able to pay somebody to show the property for you. Okay. So again, as from a marketing standpoint, you are going to implement the same exact strategy as you would for local wholesaling. It's literally the exact same. Okay. Only difference is when you're placing the signs, you're going to need somebody to actually go out there. You're going to need to hire a sign placer. Okay. So you put an ad on Craigslist, right? And then boom, you simply hire them and they go out and they put your signs out, right? So we typically send them 50 signs for the first round. We let them get those signs out. And if it goes well, then we'll go ahead and send them another round of bandit signs. And then if that goes well, then we will actually start shipping signs to them. Okay, but we verify everything, right? So you're not going to hire someone and simply let them do their thing, hope that they put the signs out for you, wonder why you're getting no calls, right? So we have to go through the process of verifying that they put the signs out, they put them where you requested them to go, right? At the time that you requested them to be put out, and that they look good, right? So I know it sounds funny, but like some people will put a sign out and it's like this way when the street, the cars are coming this way, nobody can even see that sign, right? So you want to make sure that it's done correctly. So that's the only thing when it comes to marketing virtually is having to hire a sign placer. Okay. So that's the main difference from doing it locally to doing it virtually, is that you just do need to hire a sign placer. Okay. Um, Diary of a Dude said, I hope you're doing a course. I'm super interested. So I do offer consultations for people that are interested. I think really helping people more one-on-one, seeing what your needs are, has been super effective in helping people actually achieve what they're looking to achieve versus, versus anything else right now. But stay tuned. You never know what can happen. Okay. So if you want a consultation, just DM me. But all right. So moving on. So that is finding a deal, right? Now your leads are gonna start flowing in. And I get this question a ton. Is how do you make the seller feel comfortable, and how do you kind of build that trust with them if you are not there? Okay. So we are simply transparent. Okay. We are just very transparent with them. We let them know that we don't live there, but this is our market, right? So we don't say like, hey, oh yeah, we live over in X, wherever we live. For instance, when we were in Baltimore, we were wholesaling here in North Carolina, right? We let them know, oh yeah, we live here in Baltimore, right? But this is our key market. This is where we're buying our mobile homes. This is where we're doing business, right? So make it very clear that this is your market. This is where you do business. This is what you do, right? And a little secret that you can implement when you're speaking with a seller, right? And you might find out where their house is. You can do a quick Google search. Do a quick Google search of their address on Google Maps and see if there's any like landmarks around the area, right? Is there like a Walmart? Is there, I don't know, a church? Is there a store, right? Is there a museum? Is there a park? Is there something? And I make sure to mention that to the seller, right? So when they're like, oh, well, how are you buying deals? You don't live here, right? Oh no, this is our market. We're buying deals all the time, right? We actually just purchased a few over by Lakewood Park, right? So now that just like that little thing, you just mentioned something that they're aware of, like a local landmark, and it creates that credibility, right? It creates a little bit more trust. And when we do this, I can tell you every time we do this, you can hear the seller's voice from a more like standoffish, a little bit more reserved to completely relaxed, right? Because now they feel okay, they know me, they know my area, right? And now they're more willing to have that conversation with you, be more trusting, so on and so forth. So simply a Google search of their address while you're talking to them on Google Maps, super fast, and just pick a quick little area, something that you see in the area, okay? So that is one way of building trust. Of course, we inform them that we have local representatives in the area that come out that help us with our transactions. And in fact, one of them will be in the area tomorrow at 3 p.m., right? So we're letting them know that, again, you want to let them know that you're an operation, that you're a business, that this is what you do, right? And these are where all of those little steps before you actually launch into the market that we discussed are so important, because once you get to this point, now you feel super comfortable and you can just go, right? So that is one way that we really, really build trust with the sellers, is expressing, being transparent, letting them know we don't live there, but expressing to them that's our market, and then mentioning a local landmark. Okay. Now when it comes to, another question we get, of course, is how do you know the condition of the property? How do you know, how do you know these things, right? So it goes back to, again, verify, verify, verify. So of course we ask questions of the sellers, all of our questions that are in our seller questionnaire. We ask all the information to gather and get a really good understanding of what the mobile home looks like. And one thing that we realized, one key phrase that we realized has opened the door a bit more to people being super transparent about their particular property, is asking, okay, so, what would it take to get this property to HGTV 2022 standards, right? So not just because some people just, no, my house is fine, everything is good. And then you walk in and it's like, okay, the whole kitchen needs to be redone. But to them, right, it's like everything is good, right? Everything is fine, everything is clear, nothing's broken. So, in their perspective, it's all good. But when you mention 2022 HGTV standards, right? Now their minds and their wheels, we all watch HGTV, the top of the line this and how they make everything look beautiful. And now they say, well, the kitchen could probably be updated. The bathroom floors, right? Now they really start to kind of share more with us about more cosmetic stuff, because we ask about all the hard renovations, the roof, the leaks, right? Soft spots, things of that nature. But we want to also know, like, cosmetically, do we need to come in there and kind of get it up to, again, 2022 standards? So we asked that question and we realized that it has really, really been helpful in them being more transparent and sharing with us, right? So of course, verify, verify, verify. So we do get them to send us pictures, okay? So we get them to send us interior and exterior pictures. I'm very, very, very explicit about what I want them to send me. Okay, send me everything, interior and exterior. I don't leave anything out because I want them to know. Don't just send me like you have people just send you a little quick picture of the outside, like, sir, I need to know what the inside looks like, right? Not just your bedroom, like show me the bathroom, show me that angle, right? So we're very, very clear. We give them clear and properly sent. Okay, so you can have the seller send you photos, and then you can also add an additional layer of verification by having a boots on the ground, go out there and take pictures. Now, you can have someone, like, if you're on these Facebook groups, for instance, like my Facebook group, Mobile Home Investing for Newbies, right? You can just post on it, hey, I need somebody to go out and take some pictures in X city, right? You're gonna have a ton of people replying to you because there's a lot of newbies that are looking to get into this industry, and it'll be a great opportunity for them to get in without, going all the way in. They can get like some experience, some learning experience, on the job training, if you will. And of course, get a couple bucks in their pocket. So we do, you can do that. You can also use a company like BPO Photo Flow. So BPO Photo Flow is a company that will go out, they'll take pictures for you for about $35. I think they just increased their prices, but it used to be about $35. They'll go in, they'll take, snap pictures, they'll send you the pictures, and they'll provide a description along with each picture. Okay, so if there's something that they see, maybe they see some mold in the corner, they'll mention that in the description, right? So you can also do that. You can hire, somebody to go out there and do that for you, like a BPO Photo Flow. Okay, so those are a few ways for you to verify. Of course, like I said, seller sending you the pictures, having the boots on the ground, go out and get pictures for you, and then having a professional photography company specific to real estate go out and get pictures for you. Okay, so then you can do your thing, you can verify. Now, I don't wait, right? I don't particularly wait until everything is verified before I'm going to get the contract signed and do all that, right? As soon as we have our conversations, I get the information that I need. I'm able to take that information and figure out, based on what they share with me, is this a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-star mobile home, and make an offer based on that, right? Now, I got everything under contract. The thing is, guys, it's easier to renegotiate than it is to get a contract. Okay, so sometimes you wait too long. Like, you're waiting for them to send you the pictures, you're waiting for them to, XYZ. By the time you did that, I done came through and got it under contract, right? So what you want to do, get it under contract. If you see something later, right? Let's just say you get it under contract tonight, tomorrow they send you the pictures and you realize, oh my God, like, they didn't tell me about this big hole in the wall or XYZ, you can renegotiate at that point. Okay, so you can renegotiate. And again, it's easier to renegotiate than it is to get a contract signed in the first place. Okay, so, and once you do that, right, now you're good to go. You got your contract, you verify the information. If you need to renegotiate, you can. If not, boom, perfect. You keep it moving, right? So now you start doing your marketing. Again, the marketing perspective is going to be the same as well, right? So as far as the contract, you have DocuSign, we use DocHub. You have a whole bunch of e-signing services that you can utilize, okay? So that's nothing. Now, there has been times when we have worked with more elderly clients who don't have email addresses, who are not very, computer savvy, things of that nature. So in that scenario, we have mailed them, we've next day mailed them a contract with all of the lines that we need signed, or all of the areas that they need to sign highlighted. Okay, so we highlight all of the areas where they need to sign, right? And we provide them with a stamped return envelope. Okay, so boom, we send it to them, they send it back. But for the most part, we can get them to sign an e-signature, even if it's like, well, does your daughter or son have something, right? So typically they live close to other family that can provide and help them with doing this. So majority of the time we can work it out electronically. But again, I want to just share with you those nuances that sometimes we don't get to hear, right? So that you can have another solution in case they don't have e-signature, right? In case they're unable to e-sign. Okay. So now you got the thing under contract, you're marketing it. Again, marketing it, you're going to market it exactly the same as you market it for local. Okay. Post on Facebook Marketplace. Okay. Boom. Get people interested. Now, when it comes to showing the property, okay, so you have a couple different options when it comes to showing the property. You can have the seller show the property. Okay. I'm not the hugest fan of just the seller showing the property. However, we have a lot of people that have done that and it works very well, right? So I think it's just about building a rapport, again, being very transparent. However, I typically like to have a boots on the ground. I like to have somebody there that's representing us, that's setting a tone, right? Because what we do is we don't do one-offs in the sense of John wants to go see the property, Jessica wants to go see the property, Jane wants to go see the property. So every single person, we're having a boots on the ground drive back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, right? So that's not how we do our showings. We do a one-time showing, okay? Saturday, 12 o'clock, be there or be square, okay? So we can have somebody, again, you can have a boots on the ground that you, again, maybe found from the Facebook groups. Or you may have hired them from Craigslist. We've sometimes put a little ad in the gigs section and had somebody go out, represent us, and we give them a little script, very, very short, couple seconds, right? Before, we don't let anybody go in the house before, if it's 12 o'clock, everybody's going in at 12 o'clock, right? And before they go in, we're gonna give them a little spiel, about not discussing certain things with the seller, XYZ, just to avoid any confusion and just also to just really maintain like a good experience for the seller. It's really, really about just like really creating a good experience for the seller, because you want them to just be comfortable. You want the process to be smooth. And we found that to just really, really work well, right? So again, having them a boots on the ground, like to just represent you. Okay, so that's simple. You show the property. Now, if somebody is interested in purchasing the property, we tell our boots on the ground for anybody, call Jasmine, right? Call Sean, my husband, call Sean. Because that's really what they typically are doing, right? Call Sean. So when they call Sean, then they can negotiate. My boots on the ground doesn't have any authority to negotiate, nothing like that. Not answer no questions about the home. They can call me, and that's they can just call us. Now sometimes we'll be FaceTiming while the showing is going on, right? And once it's completely done, then we all get off the phone. So if anybody has any questions, we're already there, and we can just communicate. Okay. So yeah. So I mean that is that. Now, when it comes to closing, right? So we talked about finding the market. We talked about, of course, finding the deal, making the sellers feel comfortable, showing the property, verifying everything. Now, the last part of it is actually closing the deal. Okay, so this part, I typically like to have the buyer wire us the money, right? So I like to have the buyer wire us the money, and then we can either next day mail or wire our sellers the money, right? Their portion of the funds, okay? So that's very simple. They can also mail us a cashier's check next day mail, okay? That's also an option. Those are pretty much our primary two options that we have. Now, if it's someone who is looking to pay cash, right, then again we would just request for them to get a cashier's check in our name and just mail it to us next day mail, for us to get it. Okay, so we've done a couple different things as well, but those are our primary ways that we work on closing the transactions. We will have our mobile notary meet up with them at the seller's property, and then we're done. Okay, they transfer the titles once all the monies have been fairly and properly distributed, and then we close the title, we transfer the title. Okay, so that is literally the whole process. And then, of course, most important part, rinse and repeat. Rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. Okay, so don't stop, just keep going. Now, one thing I want to just say, because again, I do this, something I noticed, so I want to just make sure is things virtual, right? You want to take on the whole nation right away. Okay, I don't suggest doing that. especially in the very beginning. In the beginning, I say choose one market, right? Choose one market, and it can be local. Like, you don't have to do it virtually. Again, you can do this locally. You can actually go to see the properties, all that good stuff, or you can do it virtually. However, either way, choose one market. Get consistent with that one market. Crush at that one market. Really feel comfortable, know the process, right? You should be honestly like closing 4 deals. You should be doing at least $20,000 a month per month. And then it's like, okay, maybe I want to launch into another market, right? At this point, you're really, really, really consistent. You know what you're doing. And then now you might want to add on an additional market, right? So, so that is virtual wholesaling. So I want to get to some of these questions. You guys had some pretty good questions. How do I say it? PR made 33 said, how much is the course? So again, I offer consultations. So I offer between 1 and 4 consultations. If you're looking for just like a one-time consultation, I offer inside the consultation, I provide you with the mobile home package that includes like your scripts for the sellers. It includes the systems that I use, screenshots of the system, so you can literally copy and paste. It includes contracts. Everything that you need is included in that with the consultation. And then if you're looking for ongoing consultation, like maybe you need, you're getting deals done, you're just getting started and you're looking for, again, that more kind of one-on-one, where I can help you with your specific needs, then we can do that. So if you're interested in either one of those, I put the link in Facebook and on YouTube, but I didn't put it in Instagram. So let me just, because you can just book a call with me on, I'm just going to put the link in Instagram really quick. But I love that you guys I love that I'm providing you guys with the value that you need so much, that you're interested in a course from me. So I really do appreciate that very much. Let's see what questions we had on IG, and then I'll head over to Instagram. Yes, Diary of a Dude. Just inbox me and we can set up a consultation. So Diary of a Dude said, do I have any website tips? Any tips on doing on websites? So 2 things, right? One is, if you don't have a website and you are brand new in the sense of like you don't have a lot of funds and you're looking to be like as frugal as possible until you close maybe 1, 2, or 3 deals. And then at that point, I absolutely advise that you need like a website, you need, those kind of things. But until then, you can use Facebook Marketplace as a form of a website in a sense. So you can do 2 things. You can create a Facebook page. Okay, so you can create a Facebook page that you can, share with people, put your business information on there, change your cover saying that you buy mobile homes, right? Put a phone number or email address in there. People can message you directly. So you can actually utilize a Facebook page, business page, as a website. Okay, you can post all your deals into your business page, right? When you sold deals, make sure you reference that you sold them so that they can see that you have activity taking place. Okay. Now, another thing, if you do have a budget, right, if there's carrot.com. So carrot.com is a website that I have used for a very long time. I'm not using them currently, but I did use them for a long time. And it was very helpful because the website is already pre-designed, it's made. You can, it's kind of like a plug and play. You can change little pictures if you want to. They have different levels. So like if you want them to do blogs for you so that your page, ranks higher, they can do that for you. So that will be the other website that I would, website service that I would recommend. Mortgage by Keisha says she's on the hunt for her first deal. Get it, girl. Get it, get it, get it, get it. I wish you the best. I already know it's about to happen. Okay, so let's see what people on Facebook are saying. How many areas do you recommend people market in? Like, I have a list of 3 states. There are about 10 good cities in each. So back to what I just said, this is exactly why I said that. I didn't even see this question ahead of time. But you do not want to start off, right? To start off, you want to pick, like, at maximum, when I say one market, right, it doesn't mean it's just one city. So let's just say, like, but it can mean that too. So let's just say, for instance, for us, right, we chose one city because we saw that city was hot, it's popping, like, boom. So we started doing all of our marketing in that city. However, we started getting deals because people would, it was a major city and people would drive there, and we would start getting deals like on the outskirts, of the cities. We just continued pumping hard on that city. Now, what happened is, because we started to realize like some of the popping cities on the outskirts, that told us where to go next. We didn't have to, like, really search for it. It literally came to us to say, like, these are the next markets, because now we can kind of grow outward. There's nobody in this market doing this. We are becoming known as, like, the mobile home people in the market, right? We have sharers recommending us and all types of things. So it's really great to focus on one area, because you become the person in that particular market, right? That's how you dominate. And you don't really want to just, like, kind of be sprinkled here, sprinkled there, because it doesn't give you the ability to hyper focus your marketing, especially. So I would recommend literally just choosing one market, going all in on that market for, like, again, until you are consistently generating $20,000 a month in that market, and then move on to the next market. Okay. What are some tips, advice in regards to locking up the property over the phone? Okay, so kind of already, like, went through that, like, being transparent with them, letting them know what you're doing, sharing a local landmark, mentioning a local landmark, so that they can know that you're serious, right? Or really create a little bit more of credibility, right? A little bit more credibility. Now, once it comes to, like, making an offer, I mean, you're gonna just literally make, just like you would in person, right? You're gonna go down through everything. Hey, boom, this is what you said this house needs. Based on this, we'd be looking to offer X. Would you be opposed to moving forward with that today? Right now, once they say, yeah, that sounds good, and you, of course, you explain your whole reasoning. You don't just, like, throw it on them. You explain your whole reasoning. You justify your price before. Then you give them the price. You'd ask them if they're, you confirm their agreements or non-agreements, and then you move forward. Great. Next step is, I'm going to send you this contract. XYZ, you just, if you have any questions, XYZ, and then you send them the agreement. Now, one thing, because I have had some people mention that the sellers, when they're doing this, well, they said when they're doing this locally and virtually, that the sellers ghost them. Like, once they get an approval, they get a price, a verbal agreement on a price, and then the seller ghosts them. Okay. So that has, I know that that's something that's happening. Obviously, a lot of people saying it, right? So I think you have to be a little bit aggressive in the sense of, really confirming, because sometimes people you have to get a real true, I'm not sure that some people are really even getting a real true verbal offer. They might hear somebody say okay or something like that, and they're taking that as an agreement. Like, you need to confirm that they're agreeing to your price in a way that's, like, loud, clear. You heard it, they heard it, everybody heard it, the neighbors. So once you do that, again, you're more, they're more likely that they're actually going to sign when you're very clear on the next steps in the process, right? Even in the contracts, right? Our contracts state that they have 24 hours to sign it or our offer is no longer valid, right? So creating some urgency, asking them when they are going to sign it. If they don't sign it right then and there, okay, great. When should I expect this to be done? Oh, I'm going to sign tonight. Okay, great. If I happen not to see some, signed, I'll probably reach back out to you tomorrow morning, right? So if they don't sign it, making sure that you're following up with them, follow up, follow up, follow up. But again, if you are very transparent, clear, confident in the beginning, you should be getting that shouldn't be happening to you so often. Okay. Cynthia said, do you have the buyer send you your fee and the asking price? Yeah. So I have the buyer send me the full amount, right? So if I'm selling it for 20,000, send me 20,000, right? So I know that there are some scenarios where people will send, 500 to put a deposit, right? I will do that in more of a local market. I will do that if I'm doing it locally. When I'm working virtually, because there's just a lot more going on as far as distance. If they don't want it, then I have to mail back their check. It's a lot more with it. I just want people that are serious and ready to go and ready to give me the full amount. Okay, they're ready to pay for it, full out. And that includes my assignment fee. Do you send the buyer their money? Do you send the buyer their money? Do you mean the seller? I think you might mean the seller. So I'm going to assume, Cynthia, that you mean the seller. Do I send the seller the money? Okay, so two things that I actually just learned, and I think that they're actually really great strategies, and we actually might incorporate them, is having the buyer. So instead of them, mailing you a one cashier's check, right, for the whole amount, and then you having to send the seller a cashier's check or wire them the money, you can actually have the buyer bring two cashier checks to the closing, one for the seller and the amount that you and the seller agreed to, and then one for your assignment fee. And they need to mail that to you, or actually just give that to the seller, and the seller can mail that to you, right? So that's one thing. I thought that was a pretty cool idea. Something that Calvin Ahia has shared with us last week, I think it was. And what was the other one? The other is, if it's cash, right, having the buyer pay the seller the cash, and then also giving them a cashier's check for your assignment fee. I do think that there is room, that it opens up a little bit more room for the sellers and the buyers. It might open up a little bit more room for just like troubles, if you will, right, or you not getting paid. So I do prefer, again, them to just wire the money directly to me. Cash, send me a cashier's check. I know it's done. I know I'm going to make sure that the seller has the their amount, and then just go from there. Okay. Do I have the buyer wire me money? Absolutely. I love wired money. How do I determine the maximal allowable offer on the mobile home? So you do that literally the same exact way that you do it if it's local. Okay. The best way, again, is posting ghost ads of mobile homes in different conditions. Start getting offers to see what people are offering, and you can know now, like, a property in this age and this condition, people are offering X. And if you're finding a trend in those offers, and obviously if you see people are offering you 15,000, you want to make 5, then your maximum allowable offer is 10,000. Okay, so posting those ghost ads really is the best way to know. Yeah. Okay. Any last questions on Mobile Home Mondays? Mobile Home Mondays. Any last questions? Of course, again, referring to virtual wholesaling and beyond. I am here to help you guys win. I'm here every Monday to come give you guys the game, give you the real, get into the nuances that don't get discussed sometimes, and yeah, just help y'all win. That's all I'm here for. So this Thursday, make sure you guys tune in this Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I have a student, so y'all already saw you didn't see last week's interview with the Nelsons. Please go watch it. Like, I literally almost cried. Like, I was really trying to hold back my tears. It was just beautiful. Their story is beautiful. Husband was previously homeless. Oh, my husband must have ordered DoorDash. I'm like, why is the doorbell ringing? The husband was previously homeless. They've gone through so many trials and tribulations together. Just as a couple, just supporting each other and just praying, and it was just so many ups and downs in their story, but just how they had faith and they just kept moving. And they came to the mobile home conference. They have a newborn baby and they couldn't stay for like the whole thing, but they stayed for the main conference and got all the information, went back, applied it, bought one mobile home that they were going to wholesale and decided to fix and flip it. So they're doing that right now, and virtually wholesale their first mobile home. So again, I love just being able to help people in such a real way. It's just beautiful. So make sure you go watch that. And then this Thursday coming up, I had a student, Wanda, who, oh my gosh, she wholesaled her first mobile home in 4 hours. In 4 hours, she made $8,200. $8,200 in literally 4 hours. She got the property at 2:30 and she sold it at 6:30. So she's coming to give us all the details on how she got that deal, how she did that deal, all that great stuff, so that you guys can benefit from it. All the students who are having success, I just want to, bring them on every Thursday. We're going to either have a student testimonial or we'll have an expert come on to just talk about mobile home investing. Okay. So make sure you tune in this Thursday. All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight to Mobile Home Mondays. I greatly appreciate your time. And I just want to, again, add as much value as I can when we are together. If you are in need of any assistance or anything like that, feel free to reach out to me. We can schedule a consultation. I'm here to help you, okay? All right, guys, enjoy your evening. Thank you so much. Thank you, Nomadic Nurse. All right, Facebook. Peace out.